Martín Espada was born in 1957. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, to a politically engaged Puerto Rican family. He studied history at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and earned his JD from Northeastern University. For many years, Espada was a tenant lawyer and legal advocate. His first book of poetry, The Immigrant Ice Boys Bolero, 1982, included photographs taken by his father, Frank Espada. Espada's subsequent books, including Trumpet from the Island of the Eviction, 1987, Rebellion is the Circle of a Lover's Hand, 1990, City of Coughing and Dead Radiators, 1993, and Imagine the Angel of Bread, 1996, won significant critical attention. Often concerned with socially, economically, and racially marginalized individuals, Espada's early work is full of highly wrought, heart-wrenching narratives. Espada's book, Rebellion is the Circle of a Lover's Hand, won the 1990 Pan Repson Award and the Patterson Poetry Prize. Though defensively and insistently political, Espada's work is also known for its gentle humor. Leslie Ullman concluded in the Kayon Review that Espada's poems tell their stories and flesh out the characters deeply, without shrewdness and heroic, and vividly enough to invite the reader into a shared sense of loss.
When his mother became a Jehovah's Witness when he was young, his father's Puerto Rican family and culture embraced him. His father, Frank, was a Latino activist as well as a photographer, catching moments of the Puerto Rican and Latino culture and struggles of being a migrant in the United States. His father's activism had a deep effect on Martin and his writing. Growing up with a photographer shaped his world, he said, and the subject of his father's photographs are reflected in the things he chooses to write about. He writes about Puerto Ricans living in America, their day-to-day struggles and overcomings. Martin Espada has stated that migration is an inescapable fact about the Puerto Rican community. We are the Palestines of Latin America. We have no nation. We wander in search of a nation, and we have not found one yet. The personal episodes, recounted stories, and legends of Zapata's work are embedded in the larger history of migration and uncertainty, carrying with it feelings of displacement and alienation for the members of the migrant communities. Espada writes to be a voice of the unheard. He writes about those who do not have a voice. He uses his own experiences and the history of his family and community. Espada redefines the border as a place of multiple voicing, of knowledge, of tradition, and more importantly, as a site of rebellion. His first book, The Immigrant Ice Boys Bolero, written in 1982, Espada tells stories of migrants coming to America. He describes the harshness of traveling across the border, as well as the intense labor jobs that they come across the border to receive. He goes into detail the different kind of people and the methods of travel and how they are treated once they are into America. From the Immigrant Ice Boys Bolero, Heart of Hunger. Smuggled in boxcars through fields of dark morning, tied to bundles at railroad crossings, the brown grain of faces dissolved in bus station dim. Immigrants, Mexicano, Dominicano, Guatemalteco, Puerto Ricano, orphans and travelers, refused permission to use gas station toilets, beaten for beer in unseen towns with white porches, or evaporated without a tombstone in the peaceful grass. A centipede of moving hands, hands clutching infants that grieve, fingers to the crucifix, hands that labor. Long past back roads paved with solitude, hands in the thousands reach for the crop ground together, the countless roots of tree lightning torn, capillaries running to the heart of anger. Tobacco picker, grape picker, lettuce picker, obscured in the towering white clouds of cities in winter. Thousands are bowing to assembly lines, frenzied in kitchens and sweatshops, mopping the vomit of others' children, leaning into the iron steam and the steel mill glowing. Yet there is a pilgrimage, a history straining its arms and legs, an inexorable striving, shouting in Spanish at the police of city jails and border checkpoints. Mexicano, Dominicano, Guatemalteco, Puerto Ricano. Fishermen wading in the North American gloom to pull a fierce, gasping life from the polluted current.
In the poem Federico's Ghost, From Rebellion is the Circle of a Lover's Hand, 1990. The fruit pickers are sprayed by the crop duster, and Federico, who responds by pumping his finger to the sky, dies. After his death, the grower's peace is disrupted by the large amount of picked and smashed tomatoes that are found. The fruit picker's rumor has it that it is Federico's ghost. Federico's resistance and his awakened soul are representative of the rebellious migrant spirit that echoes in Espada's poems. In this poem, the author voices the collective memory of the people who witnessed the events and who tell the story. The images of the farm workers as birds that peck on the fruit and the crop duster that hump like a mosquito are both icons of movement. The migrants move from one region to another like aves de paso, but the memories always follow, and so does the crop duster. The mosquito that keeps Federico's soul awake is like the helicopters that Tony in La Tormenta cannot forget. In this poem, Espada goes beyond the image of the oppressed exiles suffering in silence, offering instead an image of resistance. It proposes another history, the history of the Latin American migrants who, by moving, escape, but also resist and return. Juan Forrest and George Giudice, in their seminal article, Leaving Borders, Buscando America, proposed that Latinos then do not aspire to enter an already given America, but to participate.